Hello friends and welcome. Today I would like to share with you some of the resources that we have been using for our American history units, and these resources are available at my TPT store. So if you wish to go there and visit that, I will provide that link down below. I will start with King Philip's War. As you have already noticed in recent videos, I like teaching the American history units in a timeline manner, and these will really wrap up all there is to know about these different events in history. So I'm going to start with King Philip's War, moving on into Lewis and Clark expedition, and the last one that I will be showing you today would be the War of 1812. Now again, all of these units come with reader comprehension questions, and lastly a lab book. In lab booking, it's super important to wrap up all of the information. Your students can keep lots and lots of info inside one file folder. They can later on open it like so and use it as a review station. So being said that, let's open up to King Philip's War, 1675 to 1678. So these would be, again, one file folder, no cardstock insert. As you can see, I have in here, some of these are pockets, some of them are booklets, and again, this would be a big pocket here. The good thing about having all of these little 3D pockets and flip books and accordion style booklets is that you can put in there a lot of information. So as you can see, I have more information that I did not add on the reader. And this is also a way for your kids to write in there. And for example, this would here will be another pocket to the side. Let me take that out so I can show you. And in here is an open booklet where my student wrote some of the things he learned about disputes over the land. Okay, life before the war. Then flips down. There's a lot of room for writing, so that means you can pair this unit not just with what I provided for you, which is an informational text laying out all of the facts, all of the important timelines and dates, and comprehension questions, of course. But you can also pair these with any other resource that you like to use, because there's a lot of space inside this booklet, inside this lab book for your kids to use. Now that would be King Philip's War. So as you can see, we finished that, and then we moved into the Lewis and Clark expedition. And I have titled the reader Thomas Jefferson Looks West. This will be the title page of your reader. And then of course, I like to start my readers either laying out facts or providing vocabulary words that would be difficult for your student to pronounce or understand. So those would be the facts, and then this is how the readers look inside. Again, your students will read, complete the comprehension questions. As you can see, some of the comprehension questions are along the reader. Some of them are towards the end of the reading. I have provided a big and bold timeline of the Lewis and Clark expedition. Comprehension questions, that's very important to lay out facts and make sure your students understand, and have the students write in a correct punctuation, sentence form, okay? And then they complete the lab book, and in here, they don't have to be so picky how they write. They can just lay out facts, and this is done in a way that they, in a language also, that they can just present to you what they know about each of these topics. And for the Lewis and Clark expedition, I have chosen the following topics for my student to present to me. I want him to tell me something about Thomas Jefferson, Napoleon Bonaparte, Louisiana Purchase, the Corps of Discovery. I have provided a map because I want him to be familiar with what territories were part of the United States, became part of the United States after the Louisiana Purchase. I have provided a little pocket here for him to, as you can see, he kept adding, and this is something else you can do. Your kids can keep adding information. As you can see, he kept writing and writing. I wanted him to tell me something about Lewis and Clark. Wanted him to know something about Sacagawea. I wanted him to tell me some facts he remembered about reading, about the expedition. And then of course, the timeline. That is a big bold part in the reader, and they can just copy that, and that would help them remember. Again, that would be Jefferson looks west, Louisiana Purchase, and Lewis and Clark expedition, which really goes back to back together. Okay, so now the next event that we jumped into learning was the War of 1812, and that's the lab book that we have right here. So as you can see, I like to do my front kind of showing, I don't know if you can see, there's a lot of sunlight coming in, but there's the ship, okay? And that, just by looking at that, you can see in the background the faces of important people of the war. And again, because this was a war at sea, that's why we put the ship there. And then in the very back you have, you cannot really tell, but in the very back you have a scene, like a painting of the War of 1812 that I was able to find, and I added it to the back. So there were some British soldiers in the back, and then something that looks like Andrew Jackson fighting that battle of Louisiana. So then let's take a look inside. This one is a little bit more extensive because, as you know, this is a major event in American history. We have one file folder and one cardstock insert, and I have taped that along the top, okay, so they can flip it up and down. Now, you can also do this by taping it along the side, and that way when they stand it like so, they can just flip it like a book. It is really up to you. There are major events. This again comes with the reader and comprehension questions, and then there are major things I want him to be able to tell to me. What were the events prior to the war? James Madison, the Battle of Tippecanoe, the Capitol and the White House, Fort McHenry, Andrew Jackson, Tecumseh, a timeline, and these here, sorry, let's just put it this way so you can see it, flips up and is provided, okay? Then by flipping that to the side, you can see the core of this lab book. This is the lab book right here, okay? And then again, you have a map of the United States with laying out all of the states, okay, so they can kind of point, okay, and know what we're talking about. And then of course the Star Spangled Banner, very important. Francis Scott Key, and as he's looking out into the harbor, okay, that's, again, I use a lot of visuals because it's important that they relate 1812, the War of 1812, Francis Scott Key. There are many keywords that they should know, they should relate to in order to retell this story and start memorizing all of these facts. And when he starts gluing and cutting and putting all of this together, that is something that helps him, that hands-on activity helps him remember all of these. And then again, that chip that I used in the front cover for the War at Sea, and then here the Battle of New Orleans is the same scene that I used in the cover. And as you can see Henry Jackson and some of the British soldiers in fight. All right, and then of course that goes all in one file folder, all of the information in one file folder. Now eventually all of this is going to go into one big binder, 3-ring binder, in which we're going to keep all of these American history lab books. And then the good thing about it and learning American history in a timeline is that you can just put them back to back, you know, and then in the front they're gonna have all of these with the timeline, okay? And by looking again at that front cover, this is the one for King Philip's War, the first one I presented. If you look closely at the cover, you can see Massasoit, okay, in the back, welcoming the pilgrims. So there's the pilgrim right there. And then we have the United States here, okay, a map. And then on this side here, we have King Philip, okay, the son of Massasoit, right there. And then we have some of the, Indian, some Indian things, just to make sure your kids remember all of this information. So just by looking at the covers of each lab book, they can really tell a lot of information. Here you have, in the back, you have the Indians in canoes as they are putting stuff to go getting ready for the expedition. You have Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. You have Sacagawea pointing out and showing the way. Okay? And again, these are things they can keep in their 3-ring binders and always present to whoever, the teacher or other friends that are in the same classroom. You can also use the lab books in order to help them work in a group and assign them as group work. I hope this is helpful, and if you would like to see this, you can definitely visit our homeschooling blog, the Hermie Crabs homeschool.blogspot.com, and you can see high definition photos of our completed projects, or you can also visit the TPT store and take a look at these and download them from there. Thank you for watching and have a very, very blessed day.